we are though already into our businesses, but we are not really good at managing our cash flow. And so it's extremely important for us to follow a financial discipline. So my story of financial discipline is that I started doing investments about 15, 20 years back. And that has really helped me understand my business cash flows because I've been into a personal finance discipline mode all through. So even in when it comes to my business, whenever there is a big cash flow requirement in month, 2 month, 1 year, I already start planning it because there is already a financial discipline in my mind. So hence, I'm just sharing what tips I have followed, and I'm hoping this is going to help you. I have focused on personal finance, but this is the same formula and methodology which is also applicable to your businesses. Just a little tweaking will happen in terms of where you will invest or what goals you will have when it comes to the financial discipline planning. So now understand the agenda. The main agenda is that we'll understand why financial discipline is important, identifying your goals, your various modes of investments. So this is where there'll be a little bit of literature as to the various modes like fixed deposits, shares, mutual funds, etc. Here you can also ask me if there's any particular investment mode which I have not covered, and if you want to ask, I'll share the knowledge that I have. And identifying the gaps and working towards this. We'll also try and work on an Excel sheet. I've developed a template which we can use for our planning. So now let's understand why financial discipline is important. So financial discipline is extremely important so that you can set a pattern to your expenditure, your savings, your investment versus your income. Whatever be your income, be it 1 lakh rupee, be it 1000 rupee, or be it 10 lakh rupees, it's extreme. Your expenditure would mostly vary based on how much money you are earning, but your savings should also proportionately grow based on what your income is increasing. And hence comes investments. Why investments are important? Investments are not important because only for retirement planning. Somehow people feel कि investments are needed कि जब हम बूढ़े होंगे हमें तब इन पैसे की जरूरत होगी. Investment is not only that. Investment is also if you want to buy a car next year. Let's say you want to buy a 10 lakh rupee car and you don't know whether you'll have that money and you don't want to spend that money anywhere, but you still want that money to keep earning you interests and returns. This is where investments are important. And when you need that money is where how we'll decide which investments to go for. So now comes to the fact of goal setting. Before we get into goal setting, you will see so if you will ever hear any of these CNBC TV or these business news channel, they'll keep talking about आपको किस टेन्योर के लिए इन्वेस्टमेंट करना है, आपका टाइम पीरियड क्या है आपके दिमाग में. So what is long term and what is short term? Anything around 1 year. So 11 months, 12 months, 13, 14 months is short term. Long term is a money which you don't need for the next 5 years at least. And that's long term. Ultra short term is something you need in the next 6 months. So let's say now we're sitting in April and you need to pay your advance taxes in September. And you know that you will need about 2 lakh rupees for your advance taxes. So every month you start picking out around 10,000 rupees so that in September you would have that 1 lakh rupee to pay advance taxes and it will not put a dent in your cash flows. So this could be for advance taxes. It could also be for contingency funds like COVID. So for many of us, like we were discussing, in April, we are not going to have any inflow, but we know that there will be outflow. So the outflow will be for salary, rent. So for that, you need to have a contingency fund, but that's not going to come suddenly. You need to start creating it from day one based on whatever money you're making. So then there is ultra short term, which is a very short term period, less than 6 months. And ultra long term is something which you don't need, let's say in the next 10 years. After 5 years, you may need. So this could be a case where you have younger children and you know you're investing for their future, for their education, marriage, whatever. So that is what long term is. You are one of the few people who's blessed with extra cash flow. You don't see any expenditure in the next 5-6 years, and you want to just save that money for for something that you want to invest. Maybe you want to buy a property, you want to buy a piece of land after 5-10 years. That's what ultra long term is all about. Now, now comes to the fact of goal setting. So if all of you have a pen paper ready, or even if you do not have that, even if you have an Excel sheet parallelly opened, if you've logged in from your laptop, take a moment, write down what would you like to spend or invest in the next 1 year, 2 to 5 years, and after 5 years. So this could be that in the next 1 year, I have to buy 10 computers in my office. Or it could be that in 2021, I want to go for an education. I want to take up another degree, and that's going to cost me another 5 lakh rupees. I want to go on a solo holiday in 2021, and that's going to cost me 2-3 lakh rupees. Or I'm living in a rented property and I would want to shift to bought flat, which is going to cost me 50 lakhs, 60 lakhs, 1 crore, whatever. And when do you plan to do that? So if you can do this, one's done, right? In terms of goal setting, 1 year, 2 to 5 years, more than 5 years. So don't think whether you can do it or not. Just think what do you want to do. So for example, I may think that, okay, I want to buy a 6 BHK flat, which is going to cost me 3 crore rupees. And I currently don't think my money or my income can support that. Still write that in your goals, somewhere below priority. So it's extremely important for us to understand what money are we making. All of us are in businesses, and I remember one of the professors saying that even in your business, you should start drawing a particular salary, whatever your business can afford to. So this salary could be 20,000, 1 lakh, 2 lakh, 5 lakh, based on whatever you're earning. Or if you're not drawing a salary, what is the profit that you can start withdrawing every year or every 2 months, 6 months? If you still think that your business is not ready to give you any income right now, so what is your source of income today? How are you feeding yourself? How are you surviving? So you will have some cash inflow coming to you in some or the other form. That is what you have to write. So let's say you have a joint family, and where you get a monthly allowance of 50,000 rupees every month. So that is what you're going to write. In addition to 5,000 rupee of salary that you're drawing from your business. So this could be 55,000 for you. And then roughly write down what is your expenditure. So whatever income you're drawing, what is the roughly expenditure you're making that you are sponsoring. So this could be for your personal expenditure, or maybe you've taken share in your house expenditure, so you can write that. If you're sponsoring the whole of your house expenditures, just write down the expenditure. So we've written 3 things. We've written your goal, short term and long term. We've written the income that you are making or any other source of inflow that you have. And then we will write the expenditures that you are doing. So this is going to help us figure out the numbers which are going to help us in the upcoming slides. Now is the time where you can also ask a lot of questions. This is about what are the various products that are available in the market. There's too much news and there's too much data available, but I have picked up some most popular and safe investments which you can take you through the investments. So the most popular is mutual funds. Mutual funds is also known is the most popular method of investing in mutual funds is through systematic investment plan, which is SIP. What really is a mutual fund? Are basically fund houses which take money. So let's say all of us invest 1,000 rupees, 70 people investing 1,000 rupee every month is 70,000 rupees. They will take the 70,000 rupees and decide which company they want to invest in. So whether it should be Reliance Industries, whether it should be a L&T, whether it should be an SBI bank or a Yes bank for that matter. So that is what a mutual fund will do. Mutual funds are both equity, which is shares, and also debt based, which is loan. So a lot of mutual fund will take that 70,000 rupee and give that money as loan to another corporates or buy debentures which are issued bonds which are issued by bigger corporates. So bonds and debentures will have a different interest rate, and equity shares will have different interest rate. So when you are investing in mutual funds, it's extremely important for you to know whether you are investing in a equity based mutual fund or whether you're investing in a debt based mutual fund. Or at times it's also a hybrid where some section is going to debt and subsection goes to equity. Now, what is equity shares? So when I invest in a mutual fund, they will keep a certain percentage as their processing fees. So if I'm investing 1,000 rupees every month, that's 12,000 rupees annually. 1%, 2% of that is kept as fund charges. So only 99% or 98% of my investment actually get bought or invested. So if I think I have time, and I also understand markets very well, and I want to take this as a hobby or a side business also, you can start studying the market and start picking up equity shares and start investing yourself. Before you start doing investments in equity shares, there's one word of caution. Never go by what the news guys tell you. If they tell you invest in Reliance Industries, never invest in Reliance Industries. Only invest in Reliance Industries when you have understood the company, when you have tried and studied the balance sheet, when you've tried studying the news about Reliance Industries, and then invest in Reliance Industries. When you are investing in equity shares, you can also decide to invest in equity shares which give a lot of dividend or which don't give dividend. So for example, ITC, HUL, Hindustan Unilever, these are dividend bearing equity shares. So if you invest 1 lakh rupee in ITC, they will give you about 3,000-4,000 rupees as dividend every year. So there is a cash flow. आपने invest किया और आपको वापस से you started receiving some money from them. But there are some scripts which are not so dividend driven, but they will give you better returns. So today a 100 rupees share will become 150, 160 down the line. But when it comes to a dividend bearing equity, their returns, their prices on equity shares are not, they never go very, very high, because आज अगर आईटीसी का रेट 110 रुपए है और वो 10 रुपए आपको डिविडेंड दे देता है, तो वो ऐसे ही 100 रुपया हो जाता है उसका इक्विटी का दाम. So you will also have to understand which equity you are investing. I personally think, from what I know all of you, I also don't get into equity shares. I mostly invest in mutual funds, but I do read about the mutual fund house that I'm investing in and then invest. But if you have free time and you would want to study it, then equity share is better because it will give you better returns. Gold is a very passive investment. It is never going to give you very high returns, but it is a super liquid investment. आपको कल पैसा चाहिए, कल पैसा मिल जाएगा. एंड गोल्ड को यूज करने का बहुत तरीका होता है. नाउअडेज यू डोंट इवन नीड टू बाय फिजिकल गोल्ड, यू कैन जस्ट इन्वेस्ट इन ऑनलाइन गोल्ड. दोनों में चार्जेस बराबर से ही लगते हैं, कंसिडरिंग द फैक्ट कि फिजिकली आपको उसको कहीं रखना नहीं पड़ेगा, लॉकर नहीं रखना पड़ेगा, security issues नहीं रहते हैं. So it's much more easier to invest online. To some extent, I've started shifting online investments of gold and silver both. You can again divide between gold and silver, but gold जब दुनिया ठीक चलती रहती है, गोल्ड भी ठीक चलता रहता है. जब दुनिया में प्रॉब्लम आती है जैसे कोविड या वर्ल्ड वॉर वगैरह, so gold भी पूरा ऊपर नीचे हो जाता है. So gold is something which is completely driven by macroeconomics. Public Provident Fund is like a government fund. आप हर महीने, हर साल कुछ amount you should always invest in Public Provident Fund. One, because you cannot withdraw from Public Provident Fund not before 7 years of your first investment. So this is like you locking your investment. You will, because आप withdraw नहीं कर पाएंगे. Public Provident Fund is a great tool for retirement invest planning. About 4-5 years back, Provident Fund used to be the lowest income generator. As on today, Public Provident Fund is the highest income generator. So if you see Provident Fund as on today, it is just brought down 7%. It was about 8%, as against fixed deposits giving us just 4-5% of return. Now, insurance is a very, very complicated product, because in insurance, if I just talk about insurance, that may take about 2 hours, because insurance again has too many products. There is one called life insurance. So life insurance is कि आप कमाते हैं, आप इन्वेस्ट करते हैं, पैसा आपके फैमिली वालों को मिलता है आपके जाने के बाद. So it is basically the money that you've invested, not for yourself. इसका फायदा आपके पीछे, आपके बाद आपके लोगों को होगा. So if in your family, life insurance is a must for everyone. But if you are the main income generator, or if your income is very important for your family, life insurance is very, very important. There is a ratio for life insurance that आपका जो life insurance से पैसा निकले वो कम से कम आपकी फैमिली को 2-3 साल तक कवर कर ले. By the time they decide to they figure out कि अब हमें घर कैसे चलाना है. So that is something which is important. And then insurance has too many other products. There's also something called term insurance. Term insurance is something which you enjoy, you invest, and you enjoy the benefit of it. It is done for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. So by the time you reach 60, 70, 80, depending on what your age bracket is, term insurance will help. So again, insurance has too many things, but I'm restricting it a little bit of introduction. Let's come to short-term investments. So short-term investments, there is fixed deposits, which we all are aware of. Fixed deposits as on today are giving interests anywhere between 4% to 7%. 7% is only when you're investing for 5-6 years. But if you're investing for 1 year, 2 year, you'll get anywhere around 5-6%. So it is very, very low income generating right now. About 5-6 years back, I had done an FD. I just got the money back. I'd investing at 12%. I can't imagine there was an FD at 12%. So what is recurring fixed deposit? Recurring fixed deposit is आपके पास 1 लाख रुपया नहीं है, but आपके पास हर महीने 2,000 रुपए बचते हैं. So you can start creating a recurring fixed deposit कि हर महीने आपके अकाउंट से 2,000 रुपया निकल के एक पर्टिकुलर अकाउंट में डिपॉजिट होता रहेगा, and you will still get FD amount. So 2,000 रुपए हर महीने निकलना is not a big deal, but साल में आपसे कोई 25,000 rupees ले ले, that would look like a big amount. So that's recurring fixed deposit. Liquid mutual funds is that if you're bored of FD, you don't like recurring fixed deposit, but you still have money for, let's say, 1 week, 2 week. Liquid mutual fund is very, very popular in businesses. You've received a big amount from your debtor and you don't have any expenditure for the next 2 months or one week for that matter. You can still use this money in a liquid mutual fund. It will give you about 2-3% of interest rate, but it will still give you some money instead of it lying in your current account, because your current account doesn't give you any money. So you can use liquid funds very nicely for any short-term investments that you have. And again, gold can be a short-term product also. So these are some long-term and short-term products that I like and I use. And I think these are very easy to understand and safe to go for. So then there are too many products in the market, but these are some common ones. So now let's understand how to devise our mutual fund strategy. So we've understood what long-term is, what short-term is. I've taken some examples based on what a long-term investment is and where you can invest. So what your long-term investment will look like. You will need a long-term money, which is 5 years around. Is you may want to buy a house, you may want to do a business expansion, you want to open another office, or you want to diversify, and you know that you will take 2, 3, 4, 5 years to reach that stage. Or their children always, where do you need a financial planning? So these could be some of the long-term investment plans where you can invest these mutual funds. But if you have a chunk, even if you're investing 5,000 rupees a month, first, whenever you're investing in mutual fund, I would strongly recommend SIPs. I will talk about SIPs when I'm talking more on mutual fund, because it averages out. And also, हर महीने थोड़ा थोड़ा पैसा निकलता है. When it is small amount coming out of your bank account, it doesn't pinches you. So every month, so you can even start SIP as small as 500 rupees a month. So if you are investing, let's say about 4,000-5,000 rupees every month, divide it in 2-3 different fund houses. So it could be ICICI, it could be Kotak, it could be Reliance, it could be an HDFC. Speak to your agent, whatever he guides, study, do your research, and then invest. And then there are too many small cap, mid cap, then there is infrastructure, then there is power. You can just divide it between 3-4 fund houses, so that if one goes bad, there is another one who's doing well. On an average, mutual funds will give you anywhere around 8 to 10% return over long term. So when I say long term, it means 5 years plus. On an average, that's the return they give. Equity shares, if you have time, and the effort to study about it. Gold, you can always invest a little bit because we are Indians, we love gold. So we can always invest gold a little bit. This can also come in handy if you ever want to make jewelry. So if you're ever wanting to make any form of jewelry, you can just use this in exchange to get that jewelry done. The cash flow requirement comes down really much. And a small percentage of this long-term investment should always go into fixed deposit, which could be 10-20%. This is because there will be some expenditure which you've not foreseen, which could be medical, it could be uh, you've uh, you've just decided to buy uh, a big I don't know, something very very important to you, maybe a big software for 1 lakh 2 lakh rupees, and it was not there in the plan. And so some amount should always go into a fixed deposit. And in case as I said, if you can't put big amounts in fixed deposits, you can always create recurring fixed deposits. And ppf, because you can't withdraw this money less than 7 years, this is a great tool for long-term investments, but not for short-term investments. So now understand short-term investments. What is short-term investment needed for? Liquidity. So you know that your average lives, based on your average lifestyle, on an average, if you're spending 50,000 rupees on your average lifestyle, you should have 6 months salary, 6 months of expenditure, 50,000 into 6, which is about 3 lakh rupee liquidity available to you, which you can withdraw at any point of time. So this is in a situation, let's say on a worst case situation, COVID extends for 6 months. This liquid fund then comes into use. You can use it to at least run your house. You don't need to worry about milk, vegetables, car, petrol, blah, blah, blah. So situations like these, this liquidity is very, very important. Short-term investment, you know that you have to buy 10 computers, you have to buy, you have to hire 5 more people starting next year. So you will need some more money. So these are in money which you need in the next 6 months or less, 1 year. Or there is a luxury buying. So luxury buying is jewelry, car, bag, holiday, etc. So these are luxury buying, which is not necessary for our survival, but it's extremely important to maintain our lifestyle and up the game basically. And Medicaid. So some medical expenditures are planned, some medical expenditures are not planned. So that should be there in your short term. Where you can invest this is fixed deposits, liquid mutual funds we've talked about. Again, divide it between 2 3. Fixed deposit, also divide it in small amounts. So if you have 5 lakh rupees, you want to make FDs, make it 1 lakh, or 1.5 lakh, 1.5 lakh and 1 lakh. So this is going to give you that flexibility. Kabhi FD todni padi, you don't need to break the whole 5 lakh rupees. You can only withdraw 1 lakh, if needed then another 1 lakh, and so on. And gold, because it's extremely liquid. Ultra short term, you need in 3-4 months or so. Similar methods which we've used in short term will come here, but don't invest in gold, because in 3-4 months you're not going to get any benefit out of gold, and you're just going to lose money in the processing charges, etc. So if you need something in the next 6 months, don't go for gold. Gold is something which you can still invest at least for a year or so. Ultra long term, which you need after 10 years or so, this is where this could also be, you can invest in property, because property would take that much time to give you money, and some equity shares. So it's like a lot of you will have stories like, my dad invested in 100 shares of Reliance. Like I had the story. My my Nanaji, that is my mother's father, made my father buy 100 shares of Reliance. And he said, I've used that 100 shares of Reliance to marry 2 daughters. So this is how it goes for him. So these are some shares which can, go on in your generations, and it's going to really come handy over the period. It could be a Reliance for you. It could be L&T for you. I have a Reliance story in my family, so I'm using that story.